All right, welcome out to the Pirates Cove podcast. This is part two. Today was a little different in terms of we had part one. We had first time guest. We had two of our Rockport-Fulton Lady Pirates softball team pitcher Sierra Galvan and catcher Mikey Dominguez on for part one. It was a lot of fun. Johnny and I were able to ask him some questions. It was a good interview. I enjoyed it. Johnny enjoyed it. I think the girls enjoyed it. So we're going to be continuing to do that and try to bring on some of our Rockport athletes every Wednesday on the Pirates Cove if we're able to, if it's possible. That's what we're going to try to do. And so now I've got my sidekick Johnny Zavala again for part two of episode 6, where we'll be breaking down our Rockport Fulton Lady Pirates softball games, our Rockport Pirates baseball games, and we're also going to be breaking down our boys and girls soccer team, which they both made the playoffs. So we'll be breaking down their games as well. And so, Johnny, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. And so, like we always do, we start off the podcast. Johnny starts it off by, kind of breaking down the softball games. I think they had 2 games from the last time we had a podcast. So he'll break down those games. He'll also be talking about our girls, and he'll be giving us the batting averages, the RBIs, and hits. And we'll also be talking about some other teams in the district and possibly even over in Region 1, 2, and possibly 3. So I'll pass it over to Johnny, and we'll see what he has for us today on the Pirates Cove.
How you doing? How you doing? Well, we started off. We knew we were going to run into trouble with Sinton. They overall record don't show nothing compared to what Sinton has. Rockport and Sinton have been going. These girls been going for years. Little League All Stars has been back and forth battles between these two teams. Um, Once again, we struggled. We struggled that first inning. We gave up a run, first inning on a walk, and I thought, maybe he'll be all right. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. And I'm not gonna lie, when Sinton got that second run, I was worried because our bats weren't alive. And here we are going to the 6th inning, down 2-0, and our girls pull out to tie this game in the 6th inning and go on and take the lead in the 7th to pull off the win. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better fight than these girls had. I mean, we had Emma Grosskos knocking in Jordan Garza to tie the game, and in the 7th inning, Maddie hitting basically they call it the foul line. I call it the fair line down the right field line, and knocking Mikey in. It's like this is perfect. And it's like Sierra shut him down in the bottom of the 7th inning. Like, wow, you couldn't ask for a better game than this. These girls have been going back and forth with each other, sitting in Rockport for many years, and like I said, since they were little girls, so. These girls going out with their senior year, beating them like that, and hopefully when we come back in the home game, it'll be a lot better turnout, and hopefully we'll put them away. But for this game, Sierra got the win 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, with 15 strikeouts. Again, pretty high strikeouts. She had a little trouble that first inning. Overall, she had the 3 walks over that game. So I saw that comment with Steve Cantu about I shouldn't have said anything about Sierra not walking anybody. Hey, we all get a laugh. It's all good for laughs. Maddie Mann, man, she was on fire that game, going 3 for 4, scoring a run, and there's that RBI. Another girl with that game-winning RBI at the end. So that's why I said at the very beginning, that those RBIs are huge who's going to come up with that clutch one. Sometimes it might not even be the last inning. But it could be that third inning where you get that go ahead RBI. Hey, that's the game winning RBI right there. So good job with the Sinton and Rockport game, man. You have anything to say about that one?
Oh yeah, Johnny, I do. Listen, it was scary. It was another intense game. You got. I mean, we had just come off the game before going into extra innings, and it was also an intense game. So we knew that it was going to be close. Going down early in this game, and our bats not going. It was kind of concerning, I guess, to say, man, can we pull this one out? But as we talked with the girls in part one of this podcast today, which was, that's what makes this team dangerous. You got to play Rockport 7 innings. You got to play the full game because that lineup from the beginning from the top of the lineup to the bottom. Anytime you make one mistake, these girls can make you pay. And you saw the whole game pretty much. We struggled to get anything going. And then we come up and here we go. We got runners on bases and we come up with a big hit at the bottom of the sixth to tie it up. And then you saw Sierra coming up, and it just seemed like she went to another level in the bottom of sixth and seventh. I mean, she knew that okay, it's a whole new ball game. We're tied now. She came out, 15 strikeouts, performed, really well pretty much the whole game. But the bottom of the sixth and seventh was awesome. We get another run top of the seventh to take the lead 3-2, and then Sierra comes out and does her thing. I think you said that we had not won a game. We had not beaten Sinton at home in their home since. What'd you say it was? Was it
I thought it was like further back. I talked to Coach Reyes after the game, and I had mentioned, is it right that I've never seen Rockport ever win a game here? And she made a comment to me that they did win it in 2016.
okay?
Which I looked it up, but it still says a loss. But I guess I got
Okay,
to go by Coach's word.
absolutely. And and to come out, and that's what I was talking about. These girls, they believe. I think the thing is, Johnny, they believe in themselves. They believe in each other, and they believe that any one of these girls can get a big hit. Prior to that, Emma Grossclose, it went just foul, but she almost had. I mean, Maddie hit it the same side that Emma had, but it had just gone foul, and then Maddie comes up and gets it fair, and here we go. And then just the base running, the you know the the effort that's put out there. The girls understanding that every on base matters, right? And so it was just a great performance. My hats off to Sid, and like I said, with Ingleside, they came to play. And we've talked in this podcast where we're going to get the best from everybody, especially a rivalry between Sid and Rockport. Doesn't matter what the records are. When these two teams meet, they're coming for each other. And Sinton came out and they gave it everything they had. And Rockport, was able to pull it out at the very end. They'll meet again toward the end of the regular season. In Rockport, and it's going to be another fight. I'm pretty sure. So come on now, we'll keep you guys posted here. But Johnny, great performance by Sierra in that game. The bats came alive in the last 2 innings, just enough to get that 3-2 run and get the win, and stay undefeated in district, which is real important as we go into the second round of this district.
Yes, yes, and that's exactly what she just did. These hot games led her on into going to the second round. She threw a no hitter against Port Lavaca last night.
Mm,
I didn't. I thought I was noticing that, and I started peeking like in the fifth, sixth inning. I saw it, and I was very suspicious. Like, I'm not gonna say anything to anybody. I don't think nobody actually really knew. I mean, they had base runners. Um, I wouldn't say they had threats, but we're not used to like giving up runs. So we saw a couple base runners for them on base, and hey, but she pulled it off with another win, going 7 innings. Again, no hitter, um, no runs, had 16 strikeouts.
wow,
Once again, no walks this game, which is
wow,
awesome. Emma Grosclose, again, we hear it again, going 3 for 4, 2 run scores, 2 RBIs, and even had a stolen base in there.
Mm.
So, great performance by her, man.
And Johnny, this is a freshman that we're talking about. She was in eighth grade last year, coming up, and just like I said earlier on in the season, we've talked about her and just how she comes up the bottom of the lineup, and can get runners in and get herself on base. So when this top of the order comes in with Mikey and Peyton and Maddie and Sierra comes in, they can knock her in. It's big, the things that she's been able to do. And again, last night, yeah, you see the freshman come up. I think you said she was 3 for 4 with a stolen base. I mean, the RBIs, it's huge for us, as we take that win 8-0. It was a lot closer in game one, and the girls were able to pull out the big win and shut Port Lavaca down. A really good Port Lavaca team. So, yeah, our bats finally came alive yesterday, Johnny. It was great to see 5 runs in the first inning.
Oh,
Kind of set the tone. Huh?
oh yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Five. The first round that set the tone, and we were just seeing everybody hitting pretty much. So because the 2 games prior, we kind of got in a little slump. I believe we couldn't really get the bats going against Ingleside or sitting the way we're accustomed to. So it was nice to come on out against Port Lavaca and get those bats going again. And we're going to need them as we go down the stretch here in district.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Um, that was that was a totally different game from the first round. I mean, these girls have improved, and it shows that the fight that other teams are giving us, the fight we're giving out. You play a team like not as strong like Port Lavaca was. Um, yes, we showed them. It's so nice when you knock out the starting pitcher in that first inning. You
Well,
know,
you wanted the 10 run roll 'em, so you got pretty close. You didn't get your wish, but you got pretty close at 8,
pretty
man. So
close,
they're pretty good, yeah.
pretty close, pretty close. Um, there, that going into the second half, which um, Rockport again is undefeated in district, going 7-0, leading the pack. Um, Ingleside has bumped up back to second place um, with a 5-2 record, tied with Sinton also with a 5-2 record. But Ingleside did beat Sinton 4-3, so they got that little edge on them. And Calhoun's at 4-3. So that's your top four right there, with Beeville 2-5, Miller 1-5, and also at 0-7. Um, as games go on, these teams at the bottom are going to get eliminated. Mathematical way, we're still in it. So you never know what could happen, but we can never say they're eliminated until they're out of games. Um, so that brings it up to speaking of Miller, that's who we're gonna play this Thursday. The game was originally scheduled, I think, on schedules were Friday. It got bumped up to Thursday, 7 o'clock here at home again. So hopefully we can get all those fans out again. There's still some tight room out there for trucks to park out there. Join us for our little tailgating that we have going on out there. Um, the first outing against Miller, we beat them in Evansville 18-0. Um, they did commit 5 errors. Uh, I just wonder if we can score that high without them scoring their errors either. So we did have 17 hits though. So it did that didn't stop us anyways. Their errors didn't stop our hits. So hopefully we can continue our pounding with that team and come out with a big win. And hopefully Sierra gets a little rest this game. Maybe she'll start. Uh, Hopefully we get a big enough lead that she finally rest up her arm, her finger. So after that, the girls do have a big layoff. I think we talked about it in episode 1 with the 12 days layoff. The next game will be against Oso, which is still far away from on April the 13th. So we got a little break there. Hope we need that. I think we need it after these tough games. So because these games are gonna come back around on us again. We're gonna have the Ingleside and the Sinton game going back to back again. So we got to be prepared for that.
Do you have anything on our RBIs, batting average?
Um, yes, Emma Grosskos for third, 3 for 4 performance, had taken the lead again on the batting average. She's leading at 487, Peyton at 480, and Maddie at 466.
Ooh.
The hits, Maddie's leaving the team with hits with 27 hits, Peyton at 24, and Mikey at 22. It's so tight. Same as the average, 487, 480, 466.
Mm.
That's great. That's great. And the hits are 27, 24, 22. You know, and Sierra for the fourth week in a row leading that pack. With 26 RBIs, 20 by Maddie, and Crystal and Mikey are tied for third with 15 RBIs. Um, I noticed I haven't talked about stolen bases. I kind of been throwing them in there and the breakdowns and stuff like that. But Elena is leading the team with stolen bases with 9, with Mikey and Maddie right behind her with 8. Um,
Mm.
that's that's how we score our runs, being aggressive around the bases. So that's going to be crucial here going into these tight games into the playoffs. Is we got to be aggressive, but we got to be smart too. So it's going to come all together hopefully. So we will get there. We will get there. Um, some things around the area. I think I had mentioned last week about hold on. Give me a second here. Oh yeah, our little district. That's the district that we're gonna play against. I had to mention about Sweeney and Needville being undefeated in their district. You both at 4-0. Who's gonna take over that first place spot?
Mm-hmm.
And Sweeney Sweeney took out Needville 4-1.
Woo.
I mean 5-4. Sorry, 5-4. And they were down 4-1 in the sixth inning to pull off that game.
Wow.
So that was a tough game right there. And I also talked about because like if we went out our district, we're going to be playing the number 4 seed of that district. And I had mentioned about Brazil Sport and Bay City playing for that number 4 spot. So out of that, uh, Brazil Sport beat Bay City 11-4 to knock Bay City out of the 4th spot. So Brazil Sport is but now the number 4 spot. So if the season were to end today, Brazil
You're
Sport
playing basketball.
Brazil Sport would be the team we'd be playing. And right now they're sitting 3-3 in district. Uh, a big game coming up for that district. Again, this is for the number 3 and 4 spot. Columbia is sitting at number 3. Brazil Sports is number 4 now. They're going to face each other this coming up game now. So they could also swap Columbia and Brazil Sport. So that's a head-on collision, a head-on matchup that they're going to face. Um, Going on further on down, the District 27, they still haven't started their district. They started April 6th. Uh, then you have the District 28 that we end up playing the winner of one of those two in the second round. Um, Fredericksburg's leading that district. Going, there are 5-0, Bernie's 4-1, Wimberley's 3-2, and Bandera's 2-3. Um, the way that matchup is the way our bracket is we would face the runner up of District 27, the runner up District 27, and the third place winner of District 28. The winner of that game would play against us. So that would be later on down the road, which I can explain more detail. Um, then you have our old folks across the bridge over there, the District 31 with Cal and 4-0, DM 3-1, Robstown 2-2, and Alice 2-2. Uh, so that's a pretty tight district too. I think I think this whole Corpus Christi area has some great teams. We
Mm.
have, so I would put Sinton and Alice against any team around the state. So that's huge for the South Texas area. Um, okay, so like last week I had said something about I was going to start picking a state game of the week. Last week I had Aubrey, which was the number 11 team in the state, going against Melissa, the number 4 team in the state. These two are both in the region two, in the same district, of course. This was a very great state game. Final score was 1-0.
Mm. Wow. Who won?
Melissa pulled
Yeah.
this one from Aubrey. And the funny
Wow.
thing is like when the new state rankings came out, it didn't knock Aubrey down. It actually bumped them up, even though they lost that game.
Wow.
So that's a very very good district in the region too. So when you get back by region four, that's who we'll be facing down the road. Um, yeah, it was a one hitter.
Wow.
Uh, let's see what else I got here. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Um, oh yeah, I wanted to mention. I actually wanted to mention this last week, and I couldn't read it because of all my scribbles that I had. Of course, in the coaches poll, we are ranked number one. And I did mention a couple podcasts back that there's always different rankings, and Max Prep has a new one, a different one, and they actually have us on number 3 on Max Prep, behind Iowa Park number 1, North Lamar at number 2, which the Texas poll has North Lamar at number 6. North Lamar has a 20 wins, 2 losses, a 1 tie record, so they ain't too shabby themselves.
Mm.
That's a very very interesting group right there. Um, your top teams in all the regions is, of course, Rockport is the region 4, Iowa Park is the region 1, Smithville is in region 3, and Melissa, the team I just talked about, is the region 2. Top teams right there. And once again, there is another good state game of the week, uh, which is out of the region 1 game. Region 1, it'll be Decatur, which is the number 5 team in the state, is playing against Argyle, the number 14 team in the state. So that's another good game that's going to come up there. It's pretty interesting keeping up with these games, around the state.
Oh yeah, it is, Johnny, and I'm glad that you do that because at some point in the next couple of weeks, they're going to become very interesting, and people are going to start paying attention. And they can go back to this podcast and remember what you said. We're going to have to keep a close eye on these guys because the goal for Rockport, right, and what we want to do, we got to go through some of these teams to get to the ultimate goal. So it's a good thing that we're talking about these teams, getting familiarized with their teams, being able to come on the podcast and talk about their wins and their rankings as they're moving up or moving down, how they're playing each other, because it's going to matter for us down the road. And so we can, and I know I keep a good eye on Iowa Park, and they just put a beating on the last team that they played. Like I said, they've got really
I
two good.
thought we were going to get bumped off because of our 2 close games, winning by 1 point, and then winning their 2 games by 10 runs. 10 run rule both games. So I was like, I hope that didn't bump us off. But it shows you what South Texas softball has down here.
Right, and I think that they realize that the teams are tough. Like you said, you got to throw that season out. Ingleside's up and coming, man, and that program is going up there. They've got a good program up in Ingleside. And then of course you got Port Lavaca, but Sinton, no matter what that record is, they're good. They're good every year. They're competitive every year. They're going to be competitive every year. And so when we come out to play, they're going to play us tough. And we had two tough games these past 2 weeks with Ingleside and Sinton. But it also showed what our girls are made of. And so even though it was close from a fans' point of view, and it was kind of scary, right? because we didn't want to lose. At the same time, when you look back at those games, they fought, which is what you're going to have to do in these playoffs. And they showed a lot of resilience, and they continue to play hard. They go up, and it's not over till it's over. And Rockport's been able to pull two close games out. So, and I think that's going to help us actually down the road. I think these close games that we've had are really going to pay for us when we get into that playoff. The girls are going to be familiarized, and they're going to know it's not over until it's over. And I think that's going to help them continue to play hard. So they showed a lot of fight. Before district started, they had some close games and were able to pull it out. In district play, already in that first round, we've had close games and we pulled them out. So we'll see what the second round in this district has for us, because we're nowhere out of the woods yet. But I like the fight that we have and the way we're winning the games and we're sticking together. And we're going to need that moving forward as we get into the playoffs. Anything else in softball?
That's all I have.
Okay. And I think this podcast is going to be kind of cut a little bit shorter than usual. We had a 30 minutes up earlier with the girls, and so it'll probably go maybe another 10, 15 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit of baseball now about our baseball boys, which Johnny, I was able to email Coach Elizondo today because it's been in the works of wanting to interview him and some of those our baseball players, and so we're going to be able to go down there and interview them. So I'm going to be getting down there, putting the schedule together, see when I can go down there. I know the boys play out in Port Lavaca. It's going to be a big game for them coming up. We lost the first time to them. We've got to win this upcoming game to stay in contention for the playoffs. So it's going to be a big game. It's on the road. It's in Port Lavaca. I think the boys have improved a lot. So we'll see what happens after this game. But we are going to be able to start interviewing Coach Elizondo and some of those baseball players. So as we did with the softball girls, we're hoping we can get some of the baseball players here on Wednesday on the Pirates Cove podcast so that the community can get familiarized with our players and gonna get to know and let them talk about what's going on over in their season with baseball. Because I'm going to tell you, Johnny, from what I saw, um, the future looks bright for Rockport baseball. We got a lot of young players playing big, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the next year or two. So
Well,
hopefully we
you
can get.
talk about the future, man, but hey, these guys gave a Sitting a 1-0 game.
That's
I mean,
right. That's right. That's right.
I don't
That's
see.
right.
I think the time's now. I mean,
It is. It is. It's now. And I think when I say future, I mean I said from the beginning of the podcast, right, that they were going to get into the playoffs, which I thought that they would. I don't know. I didn't know that if they could beat Sinton just because of the experience that Sinton had over there, and these guys were kind of young. But that Sinton game, I'll talk about a little bit here, man. It was a great performance by Carson Flores. I mean, I was there at the game and I watched it. It was just amazing. It was a remarkable performance, and I know that Rockport lost 1-0, but I don't. He won. I mean, he just there's no loss with the way he pitched. And then Sinton's pitcher, too, they were lights out. Both of them came in with their A game. Unfortunately, one team had to lose, and that was us. But, Carson, to me, was a winner the way he pitched against a really good Sinton batting lineup. These guys have been scoring a lot of points in district. And for, Carson and the Pirates to go into Sinton and just give up one run speaks volumes. So absolutely, we're arriving now. And when I talk about the future, I'm talking about being ranked. These guys are going to do some special team. I'm telling you, just like our softball girls, these boys are coming. If you haven't had a chance to come out and watch our baseball boys, come watch them. It's a lot of fun. They're young, they play tough. It's a very talented team out there, Johnny. So absolutely, and that's why this game against Port Lavaca is big for us because we need to stay in that contention with Sinton. So hopefully we can get that win coming up. But I will talk from the last podcast. They played Ingleside. And give me a second here so I can kind of read out what I wrote for them. But we played Ingleside on the 26th, Rockport baseball team. Yeah, we had a total of 13 hits. Uh, We had a total of 13 hits in that game. Luke Merrihead singled in the second inning, scoring 2 runs. Jordan Gibson, Devin Phillips, Sam Mays, Luke Merrihead, and Isaiah Elizondo all had multiple hits for the Rockport-Fulton Pirates. Luke Merrihead was also the winning pitcher, allowing 5 hits on 3 runs over 6 and 2/3 innings, striking out 12 and walking one. Great performance by Luke on the mound. Trent Upton threw one-third of an inning in relief out of the bullpen. And like I said, it was a game where we won 11-6 to set up the showdown with Sinton, which was played um, on the 29th, right? And so, they had a good pitcher. Carson Flores was on the mound for Rockport. He allowed 6 hits on 1 run over 6 innings, striking out 6. Great performance by Carson. Trent, Trent Upton, A. Seibert, Jordan Gibson, and Ian McPherson each collected 1 hit to lead the Pirates. This was a good game, Johnny, from start to end, man. And like I said, we take the loss 1-0. But I'm going to tell you, we're going to need performances like that from Carson again as we continue with the second round of the district. But yeah, it was a great game. You'd enjoyed it if you were there. I had a great time. I actually was able to videotape that game and went live. So it's on the Pirates Cove Facebook page. So if you haven't had a chance to look at it and you want to look at the game, take a look at it. It was a great performance. By Carson and of course the Rockport Fulton Pirates. So we're gonna meet sitting up. I think it's the very last game, Johnny, of the district, and that game will be here at home against Rockport. So that's why this game in Port Lavaca is real important for us, and we need to get the win. But again, come on out and watch this young team. If you haven't had a chance, they're exciting to watch, and you won't be disappointed. And come cheer them on. They need all of the support that they can get. Come on down, pack the stands, make a lot of noise, and just cheer these boys on to victory. And again, I think they'll be in the playoffs this year. Also, Johnny, we had a couple of games. Give me just a second. Let me look at my notes. Okay, so basically, our programs, as I talked about, our boys and girls soccer teams. I've said it from the beginning. I think we've been good the last few years. Both of our soccer teams made the playoffs. The boys finished second in district, and that set up a first round playoff game against Somerset. That game was played on Saturday, the 27th, in Beeville. Our boys, Johnny, they put up a good fight in this game, but unfortunately, we came up a little short on the scoreboard, 3-1. The boys had a great season. They'll be back next year. I would like to mention the names of those seniors that were on the soccer team for Rockport. Number 2, Gavin Mayfield. Number 7, Richard Lescano. Number 9, Braden Anderberg. Number 13, Sergio Rodriguez. Number 18, Nathan Terhune. And number 35, our goalkeeper, Michael Gonzalez. These guys finished second with a record of 11-8-2, second in district, made it to the playoffs. And I think the boys will be back next year. I know they'll be back next year. And looking to go back in the playoffs and getting into the past the first round. So congratulations again on a great season, Coach Elkins and the soccer boys. Like I said, Johnny, we're coming too. This is a good. I didn't get a chance to go out and see not one of their games this year. I did stay up with their games, through other sites that allowed me to see what these boys were doing. But it was a great year for our boys, and so I look forward to these boys coming back next year and get back in the playoffs, possibly winning district and going in further in the first round. Same thing with the girls. Let's see. Our girls also played Somerset. It was the same day in Beeville. They actually played at 12 o'clock, and the boys played at 2 o'clock. So our Lady Pirates played the Somerset Bulldogs, and they won their first round playoff game. They beat Somerset 6-0. So another shutout. And I've always said this about the team, Johnny. They're a very young, talented team that I think will go further next year in the playoffs. So by beating Somerset, they advanced to the second round of the playoffs, and they were going to meet Fredericksburg. And this game was set to take place in Floresville and play on Tuesday, at March 30th, right? So let me kind of take you to that game. Okay, um, so we played Fredericksburg. Unfortunately, our Rockport-Fulton Lady Pirates were unable to. We lost that game. I think we lost. I want to say 3-1. Do you remember what the score was?
I think it was 3-1.
No, it was 3-0. I'm sorry. So we played Fredericksburg in the second round of the playoffs, and unfortunately, we lost the game 3-0. Now, this was a really tough Fredericksburg team, Johnny. Rockford had scored, and you and I had talked about that on this podcast. They had scored over 100 points this season, and Fredericksburg shut out a really good Rockport Fulton offensive team, which 3-0, which doesn't happen very much to Rockport this year. Um, so unfortunately, we take the loss, and I just kind of like to name out our four seniors that are on that team: Rachel Bergen. I hope I got her name right. Nevaeh Davila, Danielle Dawkins, Caitlin Raymaker. These were the four seniors that were on the team, and as I've talked about, this team is very talented. Most of the girls will be back, so I just want to kind of give a congratulations on a great season, making it to the second round of the playoffs. Also, district champs. So congratulations to Coach Lynch and the soccer girls. I know the girls are going to be back next year. There was another thing that I wanted to kind of mention too before we go, and that was that in that game, I want to talk a little bit about our goalkeeper for the Rockport-Fulton Pirates, Crystal Bueno. She actually had 8 shutouts. I kind of actually looked at the go back. I went back to the schedule to see the scores, and she is a goalkeeper for our girls, and she had 8 shutouts this season, which is remarkable. It's really good, and she's a junior. She'll be back. So, like I said, unfortunately, we wanted to get the win and go to the third round. This Fredericksburg team was pretty good, shutting down a really good high power Rockport offense. But again, the girls I think will be back next year. For the four girls that are graduating, congratulations on a great season. But I think the girls will be back next year. Will be in the playoffs again. So exciting time for our soccer programs, both for the boys and girls. You can say that it was a successful season for both. And so pretty much that kind of concludes our podcast, episode 6 here at the Pirates Cove. So it was great. I had a lot of fun, Johnny. We interviewed the girls today, which is the first time I had ever done an interview. I've talked a lot, but I've never interviewed anybody. So I was just a little nervous about how it was going to go. Wanted to make sure that the girls were comfortable and we had a good time, and I think we did. But we're looking forward to continuing to every Wednesday on the Pirates Cove. Is to bring in some of our athletes on here so that the community can get to know our players, and they can kind of talk about what's going on in their sport and how well the season's going and stuff. So it's just an exciting time. I'm glad that they allowed us to be able to do that. I'm glad the girls wanted to come in. So I'll be again trying to get the baseball boys in here maybe next week, a week or two, to come on the podcast and kind of talk about their season and see how things are going. And then we'll continue that next year when we get into volleyball and football. So it's a great time, Johnny. Thank you for being here this Wednesday on the podcast and doing your thing and breaking down the batting averages and the RBIs and all the things that you do and the research that you do to let the community know about the teams up in the other regions and our districts and how well they're doing and who could possibly will be facing here once we get into the playoffs. So again, it was a great episode. And as I always do here on the Pirates Cove, I'll give Johnny Zavala the last word. What do you got to say?
Well, I like to say that um, talking about the seniors that finished off their soccer season, both boys and girls. I mentioned this back in the football podcast. Is with all the seniors once they graduated, once we had our last podcast, is uh, be an example. Get out there, be somebody. All y'all seniors, and bring it back to the community. Go out here to the little league fields. Teach them, the little kids, what you were taught. Let's bring Rockport up. So pass on what you learned over these years to make you successful, and continue passing it on. That way they grow up and being just like you. Be a leader in your own community.
Absolutely, man. I agree with you 100%. And until next Wednesday, I know you and I talk during the week, but until next Wednesday on the Pirates Cove podcast, as we do all the time,
Peace out.
peace out.